Hey, my name is Lizzie Smiley, and I absolutely love helping people connect with their calling and all the tools they need to kick roadblocks and excuses right out the door so they can cultivate the life they dream about. If you want to launch, grow, pivot, or scale your Etsy shop, or you've always wanted to develop the mindset and skills to run your own business, then I'm your girl. I've had that entrepreneurial spirit going strong since my very first lemonade stand, and now I'm a work-at-home mama with multiple online companies and a full-time Etsy shop, all while being present with my kids for the everyday chaos and most important milestones. On this podcast, we'll talk about all things business, mindset, Etsy, creativity, dazzling our customers, and so much more. There's plenty of room at this table for you, so scooch on in and let's go. I'm holding nothing back. Welcome to How to Sell Your Stuff on Etsy. I'm so glad you're here. Hey, you guys, welcome back to the show this week. I'm excited to be here for the first solo episode I have done in quite some time. We're going to see if I can still do it. And we are going to chat all about the Etsy updates, which there are several. We are going to talk about scammers. We are going to talk about the investor report because there's some really important stuff you need to know. And then we are going to do one of your favorite things. We're going to talk about the Etsy's spring and summer 2024 trend report. And I'm going to give you some pointers and tell you what is coming down the pike to be promoting this spring and summer. So it's a very interesting time to be on Etsy. On a personal note, I know all of you have been, not all of you, but some of you have been reaching out to me wondering what is going on, and we are with our move. And okay, so I'm recording this on Wednesday, the 8th, the day before it's going to air. So you'll be hearing this tomorrow. And a week from today is when we close on the sale of our house and on the purchase of our farm. So next week, when you are curling up to listen to the podcast, I will be in the middle of nowhere unloading a lot of boxes and pulling my hair out. I know they say that moving is one of the most stressful things that people ever do, but I don't feel like those words even do it justice. It's been something else. So we are very much looking forward to being on the other side of it. I will tell you, this has been my dream for my husband and me for over 15 years to buy land and to move to a farm and to homestead and those things. But I am really, really feeling it emotionally leaving the house that we've been in for 18 years. And I guess that sounds natural, but I thought I don't know, we leave every year for half the year to go to the lake house. And this has been such a long-standing dream. I just thought I'd be like, okay, thanks house, bless you, you're the best. But I am grieving. So if anyone has any experience with that or any suggestions, let me know, because I'm a little astonished by how I'm faring. Otherwise, things are good. The kids are good. My 18-month-old son has taught me how much I don't know anything about parenting. My daughter was so easy, and I was just like, wow, I'm really good at this. And I am learning a lot about what I don't know. And I don't know, I don't know. I feel like before I had kids, I got married and immediately had stepkids that were 2 and 4. So I feel like I thought I knew more. I didn't know anything. I really didn't know anything. Anybody that I silently had any thought or opinion about your parenting before I was a parent, I repent. I'm very sorry, because golly, it's just, he's so busy that I can't get anything done. And with Lorelai, when she was this age, I was running my Etsy sign shop. I was bringing in the bacon, and she would just hang out. And with him, I can't even wash a dish. So, okay, I've gone on about that long enough, but send help. And laugh, because it's hysterical. So as we get ready to transition into our topics for today, I want to announce a bit of a special. I'm feeling a little frisky. Think it might be fun going into these next months on Etsy, where maybe it's a little less busy shopping wise. And so we have a chance to really work on our shops and boost things up, and all the things that we've been wanting to do but didn't have time because we were maybe producing product. Now we can create more listings and beef it up. So I am running a 40% off sale on my course, my Etsy course, Etsy Listings That Sell 2.0. It is gigantic. You can look at the actual page that shows that everything's in it. So I designed it specifically for people who sell handmade goods. It doesn't mean that it wouldn't help you if you were print on demand or digital products. It's just not going to teach you how to connect Printify and how to design or anything like that. You're better off with that going to a Heather Studio or a Jenny from the shop or a Be a Wolf Biz for someone who really knows print on demand. unless you're just trying to really hone in on understanding Etsy and why shops get shut down and kind of some of the legal side, learning SEO and how you can find micro niche opportunities to like for example, if you had listings up for a long time and none of them sell and you don't get views, you need to first establish demand. Are people on Etsy looking for your item? And if they are, is it too saturated? And or where can you find little backdoor ways, little keywords that lots of people are searching, but the sellers that you're in competition with aren't using those words to market their products, and you can use them and get a shoe in. So I teach you all of that. There is a ton of content, and I also have a fast track. So if you're someone who you're like, I thrilled, Lizzie, that you have all this information, and I will refer back to bits of it and the details as I need to, but I really just need wham, bam, get me done in a weekend. Yes, I have a fast track that's just a couple hours to go through and know everything you need to know to get started, including like click-by-click shop setup. So if that's you and you're in the position where you're really wanting to get after your Etsy shop this summer, or you're just getting ready to launch, specifically if you are in the physical product space, this is a great course for you, but it's also great if you want to shore up, if you're in another niche and you want to shore up some of your skills in the other areas. Usually the course is $597. At 40% off, you're going to get it for $358. So I only do this maybe once or twice a year. It's like when I just get a wild hair. So jump on it now. I'm going to leave it open for a couple of weeks just to kind of celebrate our moving to our dream farm, because Etsy's been such a big part of helping us be able to do that. And that's there for you if you want to do it. Okay, let me take a sip of water. So Etsy has had their investor meeting that they do, and you can watch the recording. You have access to it. You have to, I'm going to put the link to it in the show notes. You have to you go in and you have to click, you want to see the webcast. It's not super intuitive. You want to click this, that you want to see the webcast. Then you have to give them your information to say like who you are that's requesting it. So you're not going to just see it anonymously. They're going to know who you are. And then you'll be able to refresh the page and you'll be able to click to watch the meeting in the upper right-hand corner. It's a bit finicky, but if you can navigate Etsy, you will figure it out, and you can get in and watch this. I think it's very interesting. This is the first one that I have ever watched because I just heard rumblings on YouTube of some of the things they were talking about, and I had some folks reach out to me with questions about it. And I'm a little late to the party because I'm just a packing queen over here and just haven't had the time to get on it when it first came out a week or two ago. But I wanted to be able to give you guys some of the skinny and a really palatable, just podcasty form in case you don't want to go dig through the numbers and listen to all of it. You just kind of want some of the bottom line. I'm not going to hit on everything. I'm going to hit on the things that I think are the most relevant to my audience. So feel free to dig into that and use that link in the show notes to go watch it if you'd like to. There are also people who've covered it on YouTube if you want to get into more of it. Their approach will be different from mine, but sometimes that's good to have different opinions and different approaches. So here's one of the first things that we found out from the investor meeting. So in just a couple of months, Etsy has grown from 7.5 million sellers to over 9 million sellers. And that was a really fast jump in a really short period of time. I'm sure our economy is absolutely fueling that. But what the problem is that now for the first time, there are not as many buyers. There are not enough buyers for the products that are there. So what we're seeing is a lot of sellers have been reporting very low sales. Etsy was definitely for the first quarter, they didn't hit target. They were lower than they expected to be. I don't want to say anything extreme, but they were lower than they expected to be. I think a lot of sellers are feeling it. And the platform has very much been flooded with a ton. And some of it is great and exactly what Etsy's all about. And we're obviously, you know me, I'm pull up a chair, girlfriend. Let's do this thing if you want to run your own business. But there's also a lot of not so great. There's a lot of drop shippers. You guys have probably seen some of this. There's a lot of just low quality listings and product things that are just thrown up there. And what it's done is it's cluttered the aisles. So think about going to a store and everything is just in disarray and there's too much to choose from and none of it's organized and it doesn't make sense, what is set up next to each other. And it's an unpleasant shopping experience and frankly one that reduces the sales. So you go into a messy store and you can't see things, people don't buy. They'll just leave because it's too chaotic for our brains. So because we've seen this growth in sellers without a corresponding growth in buyers, there's very much an active effort happening by Etsy corporate to tidy up the aisles, so to speak, and narrow the seller pool. They are using AI to crack down on drop shippers, to shops that violate the rules, especially the handmade policy. And they're specifically saying that they have like a no second chances policy. Like obviously we have places where we can appeal, like, deactivations and suspensions and things like that. But if you broke a rule and you're appealing, it's at this point, it's very much going to get denied. They're coming down on low quality listings and poor customer service. So one thing that I teach that has been really controversial, like especially if you frequent any of the Etsy Facebook groups, with the exclusion of ours, which is like, really friendly, you'll see someone, they'll say, I just got this, DM from a customer and they're complaining about all of this. And I told them to shove it because I'm not a big bot, whatever. And I've always said, no. Like, I mean, you can do that, but that's not professional. If you were running a boutique and you behaved like that, you wouldn't stay open for very long. We need to treat our customers with honor. And the majority of the time, they're not taking advantage of you. Like if you're attracting a lot of that, you need to consider maybe the energy that you're putting out or the branding that you've put forth. Because in my experience, most buyers on Etsy, they're thrilled to get their item. And if they're unhappy or there's a problem, it's genuinely legitimate. And so we need to take good care of the customer. And at this point, very literally, Etsy is going to be cracking down on people who are not giving great customer service, both in how they communicate and like shipping on time and just taking care of the customer. So I personally think that's like the old school Etsy way. So I'm a fan. But the people who want to argue with their customers, thinking they're just acting entitled, that's going to have very interesting repercussions going forward. They're very much doubling down on reinforcing the handmade policy. So I think the good news, and like this is, the background that I come from with Etsy, is that handmade giftable goods that differentiate themselves from the competition are going to do great. Like literally, after we move, you guys heard me talk about Aunt Robbie. We are going to be launching handmade shops, at least one, if not two, because the handmade products are going to thrive. And so I'm not saying that if you're in print on demand or you're in digital sales or you're in vintage, well, vintage would still like fall into like something that they can touch and tangible and they like that. I'm not saying all of that's going to go away. I'm saying that this is a great time to make a handmade good, especially if it's giftable, because they're literally putting almost all their eggs in the gift mode basket. It's one of the ways that Etsy is very much trying to right the ship. So this is a great time to be in those spaces. They announced that the algorithm that determines where listings show up in the search results, they've added some new features. So before it was always what's in your titles, what's in your tags, and then a more recent update added like what's in your descriptions, especially from a keyword perspective. And now the algorithm is also considering the quality of the main listing thumbnail image. So like AI has gotten amazing in terms of what it can do with images, and they're using a lot of that. I'll talk about it more here in a minute, but they're going to be looking at the main listing thumbnail and the quality of it and using AI to determine if it's high quality or low quality. And that is going to affect the algorithm score. It's also going to, the other factor is whether or not a shop regularly ships on time. So if a shop often like ships things late, has late arrivals and things like that, I don't think they're going to be dinging you for any, postal service delays, but it's when did you tell the seller or the shopper or buyer you were going to ship the item and do you follow through with that? They're literally using that now in the algorithm to determine where you're going to show up in search results. I think we're really just seeing a throwback to a more early days Etsy. One thing that Josh Silverman, the Etsy CEO, referred to a lot is that they're wanting to improve the shopper experience. So there are many situations where something is searched for, and so the customer goes on and they put something in the search bar, and the first page of search results, there's maybe 30 if you're on a desktop or whatever, and the images and the listings all look extremely similar. And there's no way really for the customer to differentiate between them. It all just looks like the same. And so Etsy is working hard at strengthening the algorithm to change that. They want to see more variety. They want the customer to be able to look at the image and see choices rather than seeing choices that are all the same. So differentiation is going to become really important going forward. And I think even more over the time, especially as the AI gets more and more intelligent. So they're working on the algorithm that way. And then one thing they're also doing is they're using AI to scan other sites like Temu and Alibaba, like big shopping sites. And if they're seeing an image there that is also on Etsy, they are deactivating the Etsy listing. That's one of the ways they're going to kind of like clean up the aisles, is mass deactivations of things that are showing up in other places, because in most cases, I know there are exceptions to this because I talk to you guys. In most cases, those listings were created by drop shippers who have got their product on all these different sites, and they're using the same images. I do know that in some cases, you were the creator, you designed it, and those images were stolen, and you're still going to have the ability to appeal those decisions and things like that. I do think this is one of the unfortunate parts of this, these particular updates that they're making, is that, sellers are gonna get some of the short end of the stick. It's a part of it I'm not happy about at all. But in most cases, apparently these are drop shippers. So we are gonna have to be, proactive about differentiating our listings, about protecting our listings. If you're not using, if you create something new and you create your listing images for it, put your watermark on it, because then if someone goes and uses it on Temu, the person who sees it on Temu is gonna see your watermark in the background. So A, they might actually come back to you, but B, you have a way then to go to Etsy and say, if they were to deactivate something and say, look, this was my image, here's my watermark. And you just have to be thoughtful. Like, it has to kind of overlap a little bit onto the product itself. You want to make sure your watermark can't be cropped off. But that's one way that you can protect yourself, just to kind of throw in a tip there. So we'll still be able to appeal, but they've really already been doing this en masse, and it's just going to continue. It's something that they've announced that, they're using to try to clean up the aisles and show a shopper more variety in their search results. But this kind of leads us back to the mock-up controversy from last year for print-on-demand sellers. So super quick, a mock-up is just a base picture of a product that is blank. So think of you're selling t-shirts or sweatshirts. A mock-up would just be like the type of t-shirts, call it maybe a Bella and Canvas t-shirt, that's one of the brands, and it's blank. It doesn't have anything on it. So then the seller can create the design they're going to put on the t-shirt, and they can use a program like Canva to put the design of the t-shirt, put on the t-shirt using Canva, and sell it without having the inventory, right? That's a mock-up. And there's been a lot of controversy that I won't go into about, like, oh, they're not allowed and Etsy's shutting them down. They haven't said anything about shutting down mock-up shops. Those are digital products. But what they have said is that they want to see differentiation in the search results. So if you are a shop that uses the extremely popular mock-ups that you see everywhere, all over Etsy, all over, maybe less Amazon, no, some Amazon too though, but for sure Temu and Alibaba, you are going to probably start running into problems, because the AI is picking up on this is the same image. And it's either going to A, potentially get your listing deactivated, or B, you're going to get pushed further down in the search results if you're not already like a strong seller, because it looks like you're just copying the same listings that are above. And this is especially happening with people who are using designs from a site like Canva or Creative Fabrica, and they're not editing those designs. So Etsy's handmade policy requires that you either had to make the product or design the product. And you can use Canva and use several Canva elements together to create a new picture, a new image that is yours, that is obviously differentiated from the original art, of that graphic. But if you are just taking one base thing from Creative Fabrica and slapping it on a shirt, that's also getting picked up by the AI. And a lot of shop deactivations and listing deactivations are mock-ups that are overused, with graphics like that are overused because they're already showing up on another site as someone else's artwork. So you want to make sure that you are modifying, that you are making it your own. So if there ever was one, now is the time to pick the more unique mock-ups, ones that don't look just like everyone else's, and or maybe create your own. I'm not saying you can't use the great mock-ups that we all love. There are so many that are so popular, and they're popular because they create a buying decision. But we are going to start seeing more deactivations on those because they are too similar looking to the other listings in the feed and too similar looking to what's happening on other sites. And it's just something that they are cracking down on, and I want to make sure you knew about it. So, like, what are my thoughts? What are we doing with all of this? It kind of, even just kind of like talk through it and read through some of these notes with you guys. Like, it feels very serious, feels kind of heavy. I'm sure some people are going to feel a bit scared about it. I'm obviously very pro seller. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love that Etsy is an opportunity for so many people. I think it will continue to be. I think that this is ultimately what while I don't like the upfront, like, you know what, Etsy, you need to kind of give us something. Like, we are getting more and more disenchanted as sellers, feeling like we can't get any support. You're not giving us any second chances. You're literally blatantly saying in your investor report that we're going to call sellers. Like, we've got too many sellers. We got to, cut some of them out. It's like, okay, but like, throw us a bone here. We're also making you a lot of money. So part of it is kind of painful. I do think, though, that, I have felt the pain through many of you of the platform becoming too full of sellers, especially sellers that are not really there to take care of the customers. They're not really there to be artists. They're not really there to create. They are looking for the fast buck. And I have no objection to people having a goal of making money on the platform. But I also think that if you go to a skating rink, don't try to go bowling on the skating rink. The purpose of the skating rink is to skate. If you go to a park, like, that's not a place to start, practicing archery. There's little kids running around. And we have to remember we're playing on Etsy's playground. They've established the rules. They haven't really changed the rules that much. I think what they're trying to do, and this is why I can partially support it, is get back to their roots. And I love the idea of prioritizing customer service and making sure that people are creating quality. And I think that what this means for us is that we get to, just like in the game of life and just like in the game of entrepreneurship, no matter where you sell, we get to level up, and or we're already doing the things that they love, which is creating really unique, giftable products for buyers. You know what I mean? We're focused on the handmade policy. We're not trying to find ways to break the rules. So I think ultimately it's going to make it so that there are more sales available for people who are willing to do it. And Josh Silverman mentioned, this is a phrase that he used that I think is important to regurgitate for you. They want sellers who have the skill and the will to succeed. Those are the sellers they want, and those are the ones they want to rise to the top. And so actually, I don't think I mentioned this yet. There's now you may already know this, there's now a $15 fee to open an Etsy shop. It used to be free and you didn't pay until you listed something. You wouldn't believe the number of people who literally won't start over $15. And like, I respect any reason a person has to say that's not worth it for me to spend that. But it does kind of up the bar a little bit about people who are going to have the staying power, who understand it's a business that's going to require investment. And I think that we all need to sharpen our skills. I think, if you are, for example, wanting to be in the print on demand space and you're not quite a good enough designer yet, you don't want to be appearing like all of the drop shippers. So you probably need to go take a look at Brittany Lewis, Be a Wolf Biz, either take her top seller secret course, or if she's still offering it, she has a design bootcamp course that can teach you how to design. Or Jenny from the shop teaches design in GoDaddy Studio in a very affordable. It's like a very affordable course. So if you don't know anything about design yet, you're going to be in GoDaddy Studio rather than Canva, but you can go learn from her how to become a great designer. And that way, when you get onto Etsy and you're trying to add more listings and you're trying to sharpen your skills, if you're going to be in that space where a lot of these problems are happening, you're going to be able to compete. You're going to have the skill part. And the will part kind of speaks for itself. So I'm hoping what this means is that people who really, really care about the craftsmanship of their product, the customer experience, they're part of kind of the OG Etsy. I'm not saying like new shops can't make it. I'm saying people who identify with the old school value of Etsy, that things are like high quality, and you go there because you want something really special. You don't want something off of the Target shelf that everyone else has. You want something really unique and custom and special. And that was very much the culture in the beginning. And I just think that we're pairing back to that. I think it's ultimately a good thing. But you know what? Email me and DM me your thoughts and your overall feeling. I know there'll be like a mixed response to this, and I had to kind of give like a without taking too much time, I had to kind of give you a bottom line synopsis of what is happening. So we will go from there. I will keep you informed about whatever else I learn, but let's just continue. And that's the amazing thing about you. Like this audience, you are the high caliber people. You are the people with the skill and the will. I think this is probably more good for us than bad. Do I want Etsy to correct some of their, just not really showing the sellers a whole lot of thought and care? Yes, I think it's a big problem. And there are other people like me in the space that are, thought leaders and influencers in the Etsy coaching space who are communicating that to Etsy corporate and advocating for that. And I'm hoping that we will ultimately see changes. But for right now, bottom line is these are the rules of the playground. And it's our job to know them and follow them, or find somewhere different to play, right? Okay, the next thing I want to talk about a little bit are scam messages, because especially for new shops, we see this all the time. These scammers are out in force, and especially right after you open a shop, you could get a ton of DMs within your Etsy shop, suggesting all kinds of things that are confusing. So if you've never gotten a sale before, or even a Etsy convo before, it can throw you for a loop because you're getting this and someone is saying, oh, my order is missing and you need to click this link this is Etsy corporate and you need to update your credit card or whatever it is. Oh my gosh. So that is something that we're seeing a lot. And I wanted to tell you, the first thing I want to tell you is, because people are always concerned about spam messages with regards to their star seller rating. You can always mark something as spam and it won't count against your star seller rating. I recommend doing that to an actual customer, especially with the kind of emphasis they're putting even more on customer service. But if you do get something spammy, you don't have to respond to it. You can just mark it as spam. Some warning signs of a random kind of spammy message, you have to kind of read carefully sometimes to catch things in there. But for example, if you see the words, if you're already looking at the message and you're like, this is suspicious, and it says dear sir or dear madam, or it just has the word dear, they're referring to you as dear, hello dear, those are kind of red flags of that's probably a spammer. Also, if it's a DM that has a link, and it wasn't you said, because I'll sometimes say to my customer, oh, I would love to make that for you, but I want to make sure I understand what you're envisioning. Can you send me a link of something similar you've seen? That's obviously different. But if someone's reaching out and they're like, hey, I'm missing my order and here's the link. No. That's more than likely a spam message, because if you have an order from them, it'll be in your orders tab. And it'll also, if you click on the order and then you click on the shopper, it'll take you right back to the same message. So Etsy makes sure those things are interconnected. There's obviously some random times where they're not logged into their account and they're DMing you, but then they should be able to give you an order number and you can correlate it that way. So never click the links. Watch out for language like that. Okay. I want to talk about messages from Etsy corporate, because that seems to be one of the most common ones. Sometimes the scammers will also pretend like they're Etsy corporate, and they'll ask you to DM with your email address, and you don't want to do that as well. Here's the how do you say that? Telltale way to, I'm saying it wrong, but you get my drift. How you make sure if it's from Etsy corporate, if you log onto the browser, if you log into your back office in the browser and you go to the inbox, you go to the Etsy conversations, just like if you're in Outlook or your normal email client that you use, on the left-hand side, there's always a menu, right? So inbox, outbox, sent, trash, spam, things like that. Within your Etsy shop, there is a similar little list in the conversations, and one of them is from Etsy. So if you're not sure if you're being spammed by, or it's actually from Etsy corporate and you need to do something with it, go there, go to the browser, and actually it should be in the folder from Etsy. And if it's not, it's a spam message. So that's really helpful, because those are the ones we're the most worried about responding to, right? If Etsy corporate's trying to get in touch with us, you really should also get an email. But I guess sometimes those things, especially with that recent update, I feel like so many things now in my Gmail, you guys, a lot of my emails from you guys, just go to my spam folder. It's so annoying. So click messages, you'll see the list there, and it'll say from Etsy, and that's how you'll know that it's legit. Alrighty, how are we doing? Are you guys hanging with me? I feel like this has been heavy and fast and a lot of words, but maybe that's because I've just been doing a lot of interviews lately. So let's go ahead and transition to our 2024 Spring and Summer Trends Report. First of all, here's how you can use this information that I'm going to give you. It will give you ideas for new products. It will help you optimize your listings to appeal to shoppers with gift recipients in mind. Like, can I beat a dead horse enough? Gift mode, gift mode, gift mode. It'll help you brainstorm content ideas for social media promotions. You do not have to run social media to have a successful Etsy shop at all. It's just if you are doing that, and if you are scaling and you're starting to add that to build your own website, this will help get you ideas for social media. This will help you update your photos with on-trend styling. So sometimes seasonally it makes sense to update maybe that main thumbnail picture with something on trend or seasonal to help it pop out. But let me just give you this pro tip. You've probably heard me say it before. If you have a listing that's performing really well, never, ever edit the main photo or the title or tags if you've got one that's performing well. Instead, if you want to add something seasonal, duplicate that listing, copy it, create a new one. You can have more than one listing for the same product and make your updates there. Try the new SEO in the new listing. Try the other picture with the seasonally relevant imagery in the new listing, not in the one that's already performing well. You can update and refresh your shop banner with seasonal details. You can include seasonally relevant top searched terms in your titles, tags, and descriptions. Again, with the exception of descriptions, which you can edit without as much problem. I would do this to duplicate listings. And then you can time your inventory to take advantage of upticks based on key occasions, holidays, things like that coming up. So the first subject is gifting and occasions. The first thing coming in hot is, actually, you're hearing this after Mother's Day. Wah, wah, wah. I will mention anyway that for Mother's Day, they have suggested themes like gifting cards, personalization, wellness, bath and beauty, and accessories. That feels super generic, guys. But then coming up will be Father's Day, which you can promote from April to June. And I think this is interesting. I'm noticing, I don't know why they're using these words. This is new. It says themes to keep in mind: gifting, personalization, cards, wanderlust and travel, outdoor adventure, DIY projects, grooming essentials. I wonder if they're expecting those to be hot keywords. I will read them to you, but they're not being clear about why they're sharing those themes. Graduation, you can promote from May to June. They're saying gifting, personalization, cards, keepsakes, apparel, accessories, and teacher gifts. Then we have Independence Day, July 4th in the United States. The themes would be entertaining, decorations, and apparel. And then additional events and key moments to keep in mind. We've already passed Cinco de Mayo, but prom will be April through June. And then they're also suggesting gardening season, housewarmings, anniversaries, retirements, baptisms and first communions, really common in spring, family reunions, huge for the summer, spring showers, bridal, baby, and engagement, weddings, milestones like babies' firsts, and birthdays. They're also including something called modern milestones, which they're calling new occasions to gift. This is kind of cute. Part of me is like, oh my gosh, the consumerism, and part of me is like, oh, this is cute. I can't decide. I'm just split. The first one is BFF anniversaries. The next one is pet gotcha days. And the third is divorce gifts. So there's a couple of stats here. If you want to look at the trend report, it'll of course be linked in the, the show notes for you. But I'm not going to read every single number, but I do like to give you guys some of the numerical data. So there's a 238%, that is enormous, year-over-year increase in searches on Etsy for handmade gifts. What did I tell you guys? Handmade. It's going to be huge. I know it's annoying. It's really nice to not, believe me, I love my cha-chings from my digital product shop. 175% year-over-year increase in searches for custom or personalized gifts. Not surprising, hence they're leaning into gift mode. This is a lower number, but I like these. Okay, so 32% year-over-year increase for pet gifts. 34% year-over-year increase in searches for self-gifts, lol. And then another big one, 266% increase in searches on Etsy for divorce gifts or items. So here's what you need to know. Those phrases that I read, when I said like increase in searches for handmade gifts, it means that there's an increase in the number of shoppers who are typing that phrase into the search results or the search bar. So that is how to use that data, and that's really interesting. I think the pet niche it just continues to explode. But I love this divorce gifts opportunity. I would be very curious to see what the competition looks like in that niche. I bet there's a lot of opportunity there. If I had to, I don't have the data, if I had to guess. And then self gifts too probably has some cool opportunity. The next thing is the wedding niche. And apparently the new thing is all out after parties. It's all the rage. So they are doing new things like late night snacks, signature cocktails, disco decor, and after party outfits. So the two big ones, 134% year over year increase in searches on Etsy for wedding sunglasses. That's fascinating. Like, what's different about a wedding sunglass? I guess I'm too removed from it. 195% year over year increase in searches for wedding party decor. So interesting that we're changing out any decorations for the after party, but you know what? We just follow the data. That is what we do around here. There has been kind of this insurgence of cooking, television, and celebrity chefs. They're becoming more mainstream. And so restaurant-inspired styles in both homes and wardrobe have become a thing. Everything from foodie-inspired art for your walls, that is a feast for the eyes. Oh my gosh, someone is a wordsmith. To clothing and accessories. So, oh wow. Okay, 465% year-over-year increase for the phrase host or hostess gifts. That doesn't really fall into this category to me, but okay. 1,454%. Did we hear that? 1,454% year-over-year increase in searches for espresso martini candles. Okay, look into that. That sounds like it's probably super saturated, but for whatever reason, people are searching for that. I would see if I could find ways to play that off. Like, is there something espresso martini that would be cute on a t-shirt? Or are there maybe like bathroom tea towels that, I don't know. I would try to find other ways to leverage that. Like just the espresso martini part. 981% year over year increase in searches for martini sweaters. That is a riot and probably super undersaturated. I don't know that for sure, but not a whole lot of us are sitting around knitting sweaters to sell on Etsy because they're too expensive to knit. Okay, this is exciting for me. The Western theme continues to grow and thrive. As a Texas girl, I am not mad about it. I mean, I feel a little violated, like the entire world wants to look like us, but you know what? We're pretty cool, so I can't really blame you. So think cowboy boots elevated with metallic accents. Okay, I'd never do that, so we're cool. I'm totally kidding, you guys. I obviously, like everyone should wear what they want to wear. Turquoise studded accessories and horse girl, okay, love that, approved charm jewelry. Why specifically charm jewelry? In the home, we're seeing shoppers lean into durable, distressed leather and denim furniture. My guess is you could go ham on the faux leather as well. Infused with more contemporary pieces for a look that's both laid back and luxe. There's been 124% year-over-year increase in searches for cowboy or cowgirl boots. On Etsy though? Like what? 77% year-over-year increase in searches for cowboy or cowgirl hats. Again, on Etsy, that's fascinating. Also, how are either of those things going to be handmade? 428% year-over-year increase for searches for horseshoe charms. Okay, the way you get away with any of these things is you buy the base thing and then you somehow modify it. You paint it or you customize it somehow so that you can actually not get in trouble with the handmade policy because you can't just sell cowboy hats. 102% year-over-year increase in searches for Western bags. So my purse makers, my sewers, Western bags. And the other one's pretty small. 10% year-over-year increase on searches for brown leather jackets. The next one is a new one I don't remember seeing before, but I don't know. I have done a lot of things in the last 2 years and maybe it was here and I don't remember. I'm thinking maybe that's true. It's called sports core. So athletic aesthetics. That's hard to say. Athletic aesthetics. We are seeing sports fandom and the rise of hobby sports like pickleball, tennis, and golf are colliding to elevate sportswear to the forefront of fashion and beyond. Okay, that makes sense. Like athleisure has turned into sports core. From classic retro jerseys and oversized rugby shirts to personalized gear and sports-themed posters and prints, the stage is officially set for a summer filled with global games excitement. 50% year-over-year increase in searches on Etsy for pickleball gifts. That is a riot. I would love to know what the competition is there. 700% year-over-year increase in searches for hoodie dresses. Okay, I guess I could see how that would be like athleisure. That's brilliant. I wonder if I wonder if Printify is going to get on that. But hoodie dresses, brilliant. And what else is interesting here? Custom baseball hats, 35% year-over-year increase. Boat bags, oh, interesting, 41% increase. And this is a good one. I mean, but wow, 2,159% year-over-year increase for lawn games. That is fascinating. That is a good one. Man, some of my like guys who do the woodworking and things like that, if you could make some traditional lawn games, I'm super entertained to see that number be that high. That is wonderful. The next one is creative couples portraits. So people are looking for unconventional wedding gifts and wanting lots of creativity. So for example, we're seeing illustrated portraits that are hand painted on porcelain plates, personalized playing cards. That's kind of cute. Embroidered portraits stitched into clothing. That is crazy pants. But the embroidery thing just is only growing. So hey, there's a note there. 141% year-over-year increase in searches for custom or personalized playing cards. How interesting. And these others are kind of small. There's like one for couples blankets, but it's only a 26% increase. 15% increase for custom or painted plates. 146% increase for venue illustrations. That's interesting. Watch your trademark violations on that one. Some places it'll be fine. Other places it will not. The next one will not surprise any of us. It is the 1990s and 2000s nostalgia now coming to living spaces. That is fascinating. So driven by a longing for simpler pre-social media era, shoppers are channeling their own main character energy, leaning into a cozy, approachable, and timeless decor style, reminiscent of classic rom-coms, where heavily styled bookshelves are the new gallery walls. Wow. Patterns and prints live in harmony, and homes that feel alive and lived in trump minimalist or perfectly styled spaces. This tracks. I feel like it wasn't all that long ago they were saying people just want to make things their own now. They don't want it all to be just like beige and empty. 351% year-over-year increase in searches for cozy home items. 61% year-over-year increase in searches for book lover gifts. I totally believe that. 41% year-over-year increase for pendant lamps. 50% year-over-year increase for colorful rugs. How you make those, I do not know. But pro tip, try the demodernizing trend that's taking off on social, which has shoppers transforming sad beige spaces into vintage havens full of character. That is so fascinating. I kind of love it. So maybe look on TikTok and see the demodernizing trend. The next one, as we are coming near the end here, is Garden Girl. Oh my gosh, I love this. They're loving the ruffled bedding, ultra feminine pastel linen attire, botanical motifs incorporated into everything from jewelry and art to vintage tea sets, charming garden accessories, outdoor decor. They literally saw me coming. 231% year-over-year increase in searches for garden blankets. I love that. But again, what? Like, how are we making those? Printify? I guess you could do the design on it, but I'm not seeing, like, you know, when I think of Printify blankets, I'm thinking of, what, like those kind of furry ones. You know, why can't, like minky, like a minky blanket. But maybe if you looked into tapestries or something like that, I don't know, just make sure that you're not just buying them off of, you know, Alibaba or whatever and selling them on Etsy. You're going to get in trouble for that. But 105% year-over-year increase in searches for wildflower art. 390% year-over-year increase for gardening accessories. I love this. That would work because that you can sell tools. 69% year-over-year increase, tools and supplies. 69% year-over-year increase for ruffled bedding. Adorable. And then we are seeing the time-honored textiles. This is just continuing. Like, thank you, Grandma. Fiber artists, it just keeps getting better and better for us. Crochet, quilted, and embroidered details are seeing a major revival in both fashion and home decor, signaling a desire for quality pieces with a handmade touch and a tradition of craftsmanship passed on through the decades. Not straight granny textiles, but a blend of vintage aesthetic with modern design sensibilities. These numbers are quite a bit younger, smaller. Okay, I'm gonna give it to you anyway, though. 12% year-over-year increase in searches for granny square items. 34% year-over-year increase for crochet coasters. 63% year-over-year increase for quilted jackets. Cute. 26% year-over-year increase for crochet or knit bandanas. And there we have it, my loves. That is I feel like the spring and summer one is always a bit shorter, But we had so much to talk about from the investor meeting that it kind of has worked out for us, hasn't it? So I hope that you learned a lot, got ideas. At the very least, you now know what is happening and what is trending on Etsy. We are not giving up, friends. So if you're sitting there feeling discouraged by any of it, this is going to be good. And when we level up and we have to get better, that means that we can compete. We can even surpass the competition. And it means that whatever your Etsy dreams are, you have a better chance of making them because you are forced to level up. So send me your notes, your thoughts, your concerns, if you're excited, if you're mad. I'd love to get a feel for how everyone is, what your thoughts are about this. I don't know how shocked we all are. It kind of feels like maybe it's actually kind of nice. Like we're getting confirmation of what we sensed was happening, but we felt like no one was telling us. So I will continue to keep you informed. We will have another amazing Etsy interview success story next week that I'm excited to share with you. And then after that, I can't tell you because it hasn't been recorded yet. So I'm not making any promises, but I love you. I am rooting for you. We're going to do this together. If you are looking to learn and want to sharpen your skills, consider purchasing my Listings That Sell 2.0 course, my flagship Etsy course. I'm going to teach you every single thing that I know. I've left nothing out that has helped me make hundreds of thousands of dollars on Etsy and coach hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students to have success and build their shops as well. You can get it for 40% off for the next couple of weeks. So look for those links and I will talk to you soon. And until next time, go make something awesome. I love you guys so much. Please pray for me this next week. It's going to be something else. Bye, guys. And that's a wrap on this episode of How to Sell Your Stuff on Etsy. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're looking for more resources, head on over to howtosellyourstuff.com where you'll find podcast show notes, all the links from today's episode, the blog, courses, coaching, and more. If this episode was helpful to you, awesome. The greatest compliment I can receive from you is a rate, review, and subscribe on this podcast. Not only will it allow us to connect again on a future episode, it lets me know I'm providing you with value and helps other people find this content more easily. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for your support. Have a great day and see you next time.